Take a seat, sit back, and relax, because you are listening to Real Talk Radio, where the talk gets real. Welcome to Big Brother All-Star Edition.
Week 5 recap. Conversation is currency. Welcome everybody to Real Talk Radio. This is Big Brother Talk, and this is another edition of our recap series. As we have done it, we're at week 5, and even the dog is happy. No worries, we're at week 5, and gosh darn it, at least we got some drama tonight. We'll get through everything though. As first, let's introduce to you our BB Fanatics. Stephanie, how goes it?
Hey, Chili says hi too, apparently, so.
That's it, absolutely. How's it going, Chills? That's perfect. CiCi.
Oh, it's going well. It's good. Happy to be here. Let's chat.
Perfect.
Big week.
Yeah. Big week, a lot of drama, and a lot of conversation is definitely going to be had for sure. Yeah, so the week starts off, of course, we got the...
Who was evicted?
Oh, jeez. Okay, man, because I'm getting confused with the weeks now. All right, so Sunday's episode starts off, and now we finally know a little bit about the BB basement, and then the competition is going to happen. So just to reiterate what we said, it's going to be in a dark room. There's going to be 3 powers that you have to get to. And these 3 powers will essentially change the game in some way, shape, or form. So we got, first of all, for some reason, the first thing that's coming into my head, Nicole lost her pants during the BB basement because she stepped on...
Yes. So this is like a BB classic. It's something we've seen before. I was really kind of concerned about potentially some David PTSD in this all black trying to find his way around situation. Can't see, lots of people. I don't know. It's a BB classic, you know, feathers, tar, sticky decoy shapes, you know, just classic stuff.
That's it. And yeah, it's all dark, obviously a bunch of random obstacles. And David seemingly is doing pretty good here. He's in his element, if you will, because that's how we got eliminated last year. And yeah, so David ends up winning the Disruptor power. He's the first one to win. He's all happy. He's throwing confetti around. We see him in the dark room being all happy about it. The second power is claimed by Dani. So Dani wins a little something something, which ends up...
She wins the replay power, yeah.
The replay power, which she mentions in the diary room. She doesn't know why she won this because she will not be able to use it. She essentially can replay... The HOH can replay the next week if she wins the HOH. Which, you know, Dani even said it herself. Well, I guess if I win the HOH, hey, I'll have this as a back offer. She can only use it for the next 2 weeks though. So that's where
3. I think it's 3, and it's transferable. So all of these powers from BB Basement are transferable.
Oh, I didn't catch on to that.
Yeah, they can use it for themselves or for somebody else.
Yes, so we have our third winner, which is ding, ding, ding. It must be Christmas in September, because Christmas has also the blocker power.
The blocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
basically...
wasn't thrilled that she won, because she was HOH already. So it's like, did she really need to win this? But whatever, you know how it goes.
Well, you know, it's fair. She won.
3 weeks.
That's it, 3 weeks, and basically this power allows her to prevent herself or another house guest from being a replacement nominee at one of the next 3 veto meetings. So with that, Nicole figures out that Dani won a power, which Dani discovers is, of course, the replay power, as we mentioned. Yeah, so it's actually for the next 2.
For the next
current
2?
HOH
Okay.
or one of the next 2. So David doesn't discuss any information about his Disruptor power to Tyler. He lies to Tyler saying that he didn't get anything, and yeah, he just wants to keep it to himself.
Yeah. Direct quote. I don't want anybody to know. I'm scared to talk out loud. Direct quote from the diary room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, well, I mean, at least he's being mischievous for a bit, playing the
Yeah.
game somewhat. I
And
thought honestly he was going
disruptor.
to tell
So we
everybody.
didn't say what the disruptor was. So the disruptor power is where he can remove a nominee after the nomination ceremony
Yeah. For the
Yes,
next 3 veto
for
meetings.
the next three nominations ceremonies.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
that's it. So that's good for him. I guess it can allow him to be a good gamer and actually form some alliances by using that power. So we'll see why he didn't maybe end up using it this week. We'll find out. Yes, so that happens. Dani went to Christmas about her conversation rather with Bayleigh, and Christmas is concerned that she'll be connected to Dani if she puts Bayleigh up. So this is the whole situation where at
there's
the
fallout. There's fallout from Kaser's exit, right? So we
that's it.
see that in the Sunday episode as well.
That's it. We see that, and we also see Davon be well. Actually, Cody goes to Davon, right? So Cody first goes to Davon, saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry," because we essentially see the Slick Six all put each other up, essentially, which we didn't
Yes.
talk about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
And I
Slick
didn't
Six
realize.
is basically, like, well, CiCi had said it last week too. The Slick Six is basically done. We saw that at the HOH competition, and Dani does what she does best and pretends like she has no idea what she's doing, and says that what are you talking about? That's not what I did, and she just lies through her teeth. And I didn't like how when she had this conversation with Davon that she's saying that Davon said essentially Dani took the first swing because she chose Bayleigh and Davon to go head to head in the HOH comp. But, Dani's now saying, well, no, you took the first swing because you were, not talking to me and being super awkward with me and et cetera, et cetera. But, I feel like that's just her way of deflecting.
Definitely,
Because,
100%.
in real life, as someone who's watching, Dani is the one that took the first swing by making it known to the house that she was targeting Bayleigh and Davon, which caused this whole uproar. And then, we figure out who noms are, and we see that Christmas decided to choose Dani and side with her, I guess.
That's it. And I love throughout that whole conversation when Dani was trying to make amends with Davon, but also still deflecting. Enzo comes into the room, and then Dani was like, "But Enzo, didn't they say that they were coming after me?" And Enzo's like, "Listen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Bayleigh asked him. Yeah. Bayleigh asked him, and he's like, yeah, I heard some rumblings.
Yeah.
I heard some rumblings, and then Dani goes to him, he's like, "Yo, how come you're saying that?" He's like, "Listen, I don't want to get involved." He's like, "Don't get me involved. I don't want to get involved." And I get it, man. Like, it's not my battle.
Yeah.
Leave
So
me
in
alone.
that, yeah, and I think in that moment, Enzo was like, there was still kind of this, the Slick Six hadn't made any official, like, we're done kind of, or we hadn't seen anything to that effect yet. So part of me wonders if Enzo was like, the girls will figure it out and we're still good to go, or if he was
Yeah.
like letting it just like blow up and just wanted just least amount of shrapnel as possible. So
I don't think he's that strategic. I think it was just kind of like, listen, it's just you, because how many conversations are there in the house, most probably, of just people arguing and just whatever, and it's just, whatever. Okay, it's just stuff that will all go away. Let them just
Yeah,
vent.
there's a lot, but I
yeah.
think it is strategic in the sense where Enzo knew to say the less the better, because there are so many conversations. He's
Yeah.
like, the less I could say, the less people could blame me for things.
And as long as I don't lie,
Exactly.
just
Don't
lie. It's
lie,
not gonna don't lie it so I don't get that blowback. But don't point fingers. Just be like, yes, I heard it. Not from who.
Yeah, yes,
not
I
what
heard. I
about.
didn't do anything. Exactly. Because
Yeah.
he knows that lying in that situation, Bayleigh would have gone off, because she would have been like, what? You told me that you heard. Now you're lying to my face. Like,
Exactly.
he made the right decision. He made the right
Exactly.
decision.
And so at first, that's why Christmas was initially concerned about potentially putting up, concerned about being connected with Dani if she puts up Bayleigh, because of that whole confrontation that Dani and Bayleigh had. But I guess we see, obviously, she chose Dani's side, like you guys mentioned. Christmas just ends up putting Bayleigh and Davon on the block. With that, though, Tyler, we see, is still trying to do a little bit of damage control because he's kind of worried at this point. He's kind of worried about that he told Day and Bay about Dani targeting them will blow back in his own game. So, we see this is very important. We see that Tyler's kind of worried now. Oh, wait, maybe I kind of said too much. Maybe I tried to pull a Dani and put too many seeds everywhere, sort of ordeal.
Yeah. Not surprised. I said last week that I knew without a doubt that Christmas was going to put up Bayleigh and Davon because she was going to choose Dani's side ultimately because Christmas is not in the Slick Six. So she was going to choose her alliance above all. But it was a huge slap in the face for one because she's very close with Bayleigh. So that was just like, you put your friend up on the block who trusted you. And two, you put up Davon, who essentially gave you the HOH this week.
Yeah, and so where does that conversation with Christmas and Bayleigh come in, right? Because that's pre-nomination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Bayleigh and Christmas conversation. I didn't actually realize that they were that close because I only watched really the edited version. And
yeah,
so
and they didn't show us too much of their friendship. That's true.
yeah, so I wasn't really aware. So it kind of surprised me because for Bayleigh to do what she did, which was that bold question of like, who's your ride or die? Who's your untouchable? And then to answer it, you know what?
Yeah, and
This gave Christmas all the ammo she needed. She didn't need it from a game perspective, but she needed it for basically the reasoning behind it, right? So,
that's it. And so then that's what she said. Oh, yeah, and then Davon has this attitude. So Christmas basically mentions, oh, because Davon's your ride or die, and then Davon is like, wait, so you put me up because she's my ride or die? Like,
Yeah.
yes, Davon, obviously. Like, don't try to be smirky about it either, though. Like, it was kind of a smart move on Christmas's point because I don't think anyone was gonna take at this point. It was anyone was gonna take a stab at the dynamic duo that was here because they were kind of slowly riding along without no one noticing their duo, if you will.
I mean, I think everyone realized that because they're such good friends, that's like an obvious final two. Usually your best friend is your final two. But
Right.
like the fact that like yes, we didn't know how close she was with Christmas. Christmas was just so hypocritical in the sense that like she's like, "Well, I realized that Bayleigh had someone else that she would choose above me, but so did you. You have Tyler that you would choose above Bayleigh." So
That's
it's
it.
like you can't crucify one when you're doing the same thing because that's playing the game.
And we'll talk more about that when the fight happens because I think everybody's wrong in this situation. So, uh,
So the noms are up. Bay and Day go up, and then we really see some shit happen, and then POV is next.
that's it. In the Power of Veto, we got Nicole, Dani, and Ian who are going to be playing in the Power of Veto. Unfortunately, though, Ian is feeling really sick and got a note from the doctor, quite literally, the BB medic, that he won't be able to play in the competition. We also do see, by the way, it's also worth noting that Davon and Dani make amends, technically, on this episode. Oh, hold on. Before we even get to the POV, we must talk about when Bayleigh went up to the HOH room with Christmas to like go say, "Hey, what's up? How come, what's going on here?" Christmas was all like crying and all like, "I'm so sorry, I put you up." And, da, 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 da. And Bayleigh was like, "Wait a minute, I'm on the block, yet I'm consoling you. What's up
Yeah.
with that?"
And can we sneak in at this moment about what she said on the live feeds about being nervous about putting up Bayleigh and Davon? Like
oh, do share.
she was uh, before nominations was very concerned of the blowback she would get because she knew it was going to cause some drama, and she said that she feels like Bayleigh's going to cut her and shoot her in the face, and that she was terrified. Now,
Oh,
let's make
snap.
a note here that
Mm-hmm.
if Bayleigh was white, I do not think that Christmas would use the term cut her.
There's no way. There's no way she would have.
I totally forgot about that. This
Yes.
happened. Oh, this
So I
doesn't
just felt like
happen
it was a good
on.
opportunity to slide this in because this happened not
Oh.
on TV, because it's not appropriate to show on TV. But she basically used these racist terms against Bayleigh,
Who did
saying
she
that
say
she
this
was
to?
terrified. She said it to like Dani and Cody, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, snap.
And that's pre-POV pick. That's pre-nominations.
Pre-nomination. So this was a live feed
Whoa.
exclusive.
Oh, wow. I didn't. I remember hearing about that, but I guess I
Yeah, I
totally.
saw the article, but I didn't know the timeline.
Yeah, so I got the clip here. I'm going to play it. All rights to CBS, obviously. Here you go.
I said something about it, and we're just like,
I mean, is she gonna cut me when I put her up?
who?
Bayleigh.
This house is a lot.
This was before. How do you think I feel? I'm gonna get shot. Like somebody's gonna put a fork in my face today.
No, they'll stop that. That would be so
Not if it
terrible.
happens fast enough.
Don't say that. It's disgusting.
I'm just saying, I'm scared. And I'm not easily spooked.
No, you're not at all.
No.
Yeah. Damn. Well, there's
Wow.
more. There's more. There's also some Ian
Yeah.
drama for a little later.
Yeah. So
Um.
that essentially builds up why Christmas is upset and tries to talk down Bayleigh because she knew that there was going to be this blowback. And then, obviously, Davon and Dani have their reconciliation, and they try to kind of move forward. And they all come clean about Tyler being the source,
Right.
and that they're trying to figure out what's their best move now to see if Tyler would be a good target for this week and maybe save one of the girls. But it's essentially a lot of drama that's cooking in the pot, and we're not at the top yet, but it's getting there.
That's it. And Dani comes to Christmas, right? It starts telling her the news, and Christmas is obviously hesitant to be trying anything to backdoor Tyler or whatever, because of the whole hey, we got to get some men out. Because obviously Christmas is
no one knows about their final two, so
That's
she doesn't want to reveal her cards.
Exactly, which makes sense. Hence us saying, hey, neither Bayleigh was not your ride or die either. It was Tyler, as we alluded to earlier. So everyone's a hypocrite. In the veto player meeting, like we mentioned, Nicole and Dani and Ian were picked. Ian can't play. This veto competition is called the BB Math Cathalon. I was gonna almost mess that up. Where basically the veto players need to hold down 2 buttons on the ground while keeping an eye on the math equations that appear. When an equation equals to 13, they can then let go of the buttons and try to run to the next button faster than anyone else. But if you do a false start and let go of your button, you are eliminated. Pretty cool. We've obviously seen these throughout Big Brother games. There's been too many.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these button type games. Most of the time they're kind of like you can't let go. This one is you're allowed to let go if the math was right, which unfortunately we see that Davon is the first to let go when the math number was not the right number.
Yeah.
And then Bayleigh did the same thing, which I was super disappointed because at first I had to double take and be like, wait, what just happened? I don't understand the game. But then I'm like, oh, the number wasn't correct. So they jumped too quick.
That's it. And I think Davon was just false start. Like, I don't think she meant to take. Oh, no.
She definitely did. They definitely messed up. Both her and Bayleigh,
they false start, but they basically thought the number was the right one, and it wasn't, because they all said that they weren't good at math at the beginning of this competition. So
yeah, no, I would mess up too. I mean, it wasn't crazy hard math, but then when I saw one that was like 95 minus 64, I was like, I could do that whatever by thinking a little bit, but while like holding on to those buttons, I'd panic. It gets
but it's the pressure, right? Because you want to be the first one, but then in these competitions, being slow works, but you think that you have to be the first one, so you might jump ahead and false start. But everyone's doing the math in their head, so you're better off taking the time to be sure to let go.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if you're not the one that makes it to the thing first, it's better effort than false starting, you know. But it wasn't an easy competition, especially that they were all girls, right? Like it was a full girl competition, and I think it was just a lot of pressure on everyone.
I think so too. Yeah.
That's it. So Davon initially grabs the veto, but Bayleigh comes in. She gets the fitness thing. She grabs the veto and gives the fitness thing to Davon. Dani
Took the fitness from Davon, and she won the Slopetard.
Nicole.
basically Nicole gets $5,000, and this is really awesome. This shows this. I was so. I was thinking in my head right away, Nicole's gonna take the 5,000. She's not gonna feel
I was
like.
surprised. Yeah.
I was completely surprised. Nicole got the 5,000, but she goes and gives it to Davon and takes Slopetard and says, "Hey, I like wearing these things anyways. Here you go. Here's 5,000." Like, I was like, "Oh wow, that was
Smart
so
for her
nice."
game, though.
Smart for her game.
Yeah.
And she had the out, right? Keeping her tradition, right? I think she's
Yeah.
worn a punishment costume every time she's
Every
played.
season.
So
So exactly.
Snap. Yeah. So she
Yeah,
kept up
but
with
good for her
tradition.
game. She's done the unitards before. She does enjoy it. She's won the money already. So I think showing her cards to be greedy would just put a bigger target on her back, and it would remind people that she's already won the money. So very, very smart for her game.
Very smart indeed. And I like how Davon is like, kudos to her, and thank God that she did that, because I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, same.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, straight up. And obviously, Christmas wins, and obviously picks the veto because, well, what is Christmas? Christmas won.
The triathlon, which we didn't actually see. There was not enough editing time to see this punishment play out on TV, but it was the triathlon prize where you had to run 500 laps around the backyard.
Damn, which she gives to Bayleigh, which, yeah, damn. Well, you know, obviously she wants to keep noms the same. Now she's probably really scared of what they are going to do. But yeah, so that happens. And we see Nicole get her Slopetard punishment and shows it off to the other house guests. It's cool. It's not bad. I noticed everything in the back in terms of nutrition was like 0. I was like, all right, I guess that makes sense. It's slop.
Which I'm surprised because slop is like essentially oatmeal, and oatmeal has nutritional value. So
well, didn't they introduce slop because it used to be PB&J, and then people were being malnourished, so they put them on slop because it has like all the vitamins and everything, like so many additives. It's like a protein and vitamin.
Reason?
Yeah.
Ah.
Well,
but I feel like PB&J has nourishment.
They essentially can't. No, but you can't give someone to eat something solely every day for a whole week without it being essential for their bodies to be able to survive.
And people were ending up on PB&J multiple weeks in a row.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it doesn't taste good, but it's essentially oatmeal and like a protein shake in one.
Oh.
But not very flavorful.
Well, usually healthy stuff sometimes isn't too flavorful. That's you know.
You lie.
Usually, I'm saying there's some stuff out there.
I was gonna say, ask your boy Holden, because he just posted about trying to make oatmeal taste better for breakfast because he knows it's good for him, but he doesn't really enjoy eating it. So
a handful of trail mix and some frozen blueberries.
Oh, that's good. That's fair. Fine. I'll up to that. Yeah. So then we get to Tyler's guilt trip, which I think maybe might have been genuine, but let's get to it. So basically he tells he wants to talk to Davon and Bayleigh. They go to the the have not room, and he wants to talk to both of them. He tells the two women that he doesn't want to be known in this game for pitting players against each other for his own gain. Feels that both Bayleigh and Davon have more to play for than he does, and he tells them that he wants to ask Christmas to use the veto and put him on the block because he feels guilty, essentially, about why they're nominated this week.
Yeah.
Both women were really shocked, but it looked like Bayleigh wasn't necessarily buying into the Tyler bag.
I think editing made it seem a little bit less genuine on Bailey's part because I feel like even though Bailey was like, I see what Tyler's doing and we have hope here that our game could be salvaged. I think in the back of her mind, she's still like, hey, at the end of the day, Tyler doesn't control whether or not he could go through with this.
Hmm.
But I think they do believe that Tyler was being genuine, but as we'll get to it, Christmas just had the final say. And considering that Tyler was her final two, she essentially did not want to go with this. She didn't like the idea. And even though the girls were for it, and by the girls I mean like Dani and Nicole and other members of their alliance, it would have been a great thing. And also, I think that Christmas was being very selfish, and she's probably the first person
Mhm.
in Big Brother history to go against the wishes of a house guest who wants to leave.
Yes, and she's maybe not the first in history,
Yeah, that's a bit
but
much.
honestly, if my alliance was on board with that, with my number one in our group alliance, and you guys are cool with backdooring him, that would freak me out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the thing is, this is her, final two guy, though. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Keep in mind, too, I think Devon also messed up by also talking to Christmas
Yeah,
afterwards.
Definitely, definitely.
So,
She
definitely.
tried to
so
she tried to like basically shift the blame so that Christmas felt more comfortable, but not realizing that it was just gibberish. It wasn't truthful, but it was just essentially what she tried to get Christmas to feel confident in putting Tyler up, but nobody knows that Tyler is her final two, so they're not realizing that it actually did worse for their game than better for their game by saying that.
but also by saying, hey, Bailey still wants Tyler's head is not a good move. One, that's your bestie. So if you want to, play all, I don't want to campaign against you and so on, I felt that was crooked on Davon's part because I'm like, oh, that's a bit shady though, because you don't.
See, but like I'm saying, I see what Davon was trying to do. Christmas was like, but is Bailey still mad at me? And Davon was like, no, her anger is not directed
Mm,
towards you, which it was.
right.
She needed a lie to get around that. She just chose the wrong one because she said her anger isn't directed towards you. Her anger is directed towards Tyler right now because she assumed put it on Tyler because he's gonna leave. But she shouldn't have because
No, you'd only do
Tyler
that
wasn't
once
up
it
yet.
happens.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, because that's it. Because then, of course,
Mhm.
Christmas went to Tyler. Hey, by the way, Bailey's upset with you, so you're
Which
being
wasn't the
nice and all
truth. So
this.
now, yeah, exactly. And it wasn't the truth. She was upset with Christmas, but they didn't want to tell Christmas that. So it was just a big, what I was gonna say the cluster F word. So it really was just a big mess.
Yeah,
It was a giant mess.
definitely a giant mess. It was sloppy play on their part, though. Like,
Yeah, I think Tyler, Bailey, Davon, sloppy. Sloppy,
Yeah,
sloppy, sloppy. The whole thing.
I think they all should have just been in a room together with Christmas for
yeah,
it not to get so he said she said.
Mm,
That might have been a
mhm.
little bit easier, but I don't think Christmas would have changed her mind anyways.
Agreed. I think Christmas, self-preservation, her game. I mean, she clearly showed her cards with this decision that she's gonna make whatever decision she feels like. It's nice if she voted that way too, but you know,
Yeah.
she's
Big
gonna
power trip this week with Christmas.
power trip.
In every aspect. Every aspect.
Yeah.
that's it. So she gets the veto. She doesn't use it. Clearly, she wants to keep it the same. And then, honestly, I don't really know what happened on Thursday aside from the fight. So, is there anything before the fight happens?
Yeah, I just want to make note that Bailey at the veto ceremony asked Christmas, "Well, can we share to the house who your untouchable is?"
Snap.
And she
Yes.
swiftly said, "No," and closed the box. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know at this point if Bailey knew for a fact that it was Tyler. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she was just trying to coax Christmas into an awkward situation in front of the house. But
Right.
I know that if I was Bailey and knowing that no one got taken off the block, I would have said it right there and then. Even if I was
Yeah.
wrong, I would have said, well, I think her untouchable is this person. And she didn't say anything, which I was surprised.
Exactly. If you're gonna open it, if you're gonna do that and stir poop that way at a ceremony, like you just gotta go for it. And whether she knew it was Tyler or not, which if you're paying attention, you should
It would have
know
been
that
obvious,
it's Tyler because of all the way the conversations all went and everything. So yeah, I would have just gone a shot in the dark because Christmas claims
There's
that
a
she didn't
dilemma
tell
though.
her. What's
There's the
that?
dilemma though, right? Because then Christmas is Bayleigh is also going to be blowing up Tyler's game, who Tyler just almost put himself up for her, kind of thing, right? So
Too bad. She's going home. Too bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what does she care?
well, she
the
doesn't know
box
she's
was
going
closed.
home yet.
No, but in that moment, the box was closed. One of them were going home. So what is it to them to blow up the game? Because you know, whoever isn't going home is probably still a big target next week anyway. So it's like at this point, do what Kaser did. You know you're at the last straw. Just blow it up.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, fine. So ultimately, Thursday starts. Julie Chen welcomes us. They mentioned at the beginning, hey, there's a whole lot of drama that happened. And boy, was there ever. We first see Christmas and Davon just talking casually and discussing about how Bayleigh is feeling, why Bayleigh is feeling this way, and Christmas was kind of putting the blame on Bayleigh, essentially, and Davon was trying to conversate with her. No, the reason why I think Bayleigh was feeling this way, the reason why I think she might feel attacked is because you did this. And this is what maybe happened here. I don't remember the words for verbatim, but basically Christmas was trying to say Bayleigh's attitude towards her isn't proper. When Davon was just trying to say, well, look, she has her reasons.
And it just goes more to the underlying, let's call them microaggressions, because that's the term that people are using nowadays. It just goes to the underlying microaggressions because Christmas is so offended that Bayleigh has an attitude with her in the house. And we'll cop this up to Christmas thinking that she has a black girl attitude, which is, they don't say it, but this is what is implied. And Davon even says in the diary room on her monologue that Christmas doesn't get to dictate when Bayleigh should be okay with feeling how she feels. She should take as long as she needs. It's her feelings to deal with, and Christmas should not get to dictate. Well, it's enough time that's passed. She shouldn't be mad at me anymore. Like that doesn't happen. So Christmas was just too white girl privileged. I'm sorry, I have a lot of feelings.
It's true.
But it's just Christmas took her white girl privilege and got offended and flipped it on Bayleigh to say, well, no, she shouldn't be mad at me anymore. She shouldn't feel the way she feels. And I don't like that she's copying an attitude with me in the house because it's very ghetto and it's very black and it's very just making me feel uncomfortable. No, but that's what's implied in how she's talking about it. When she's talking to Davon, it's like I'm saying, this is hypothetical, but if Bayleigh was white and was copying an attitude with Christmas, it would just be, well, she's mad at me and it's drama at the end of the day. But the way Christmas was explaining that she just was offended because of the attitude that Bayleigh was giving her and wasn't giving her the time of day, it's like you don't get to be mad at her when you're the one that did something for her to be mad at. You have to own it. You are the HOH. You made a decision. You have to stick by it and take the shit that comes with it.
Right. Exactly. And the accountability from Christmas obviously is not there. And yes, she is absolutely using perceptions and bias to frame the attitude, quote unquote, that she's getting from Bayleigh in a particular light. It's intentional. There's nothing not intentional about what she was doing, except for maybe that she doesn't realize it. I don't know. But that's what the frame she was painting. There's no doubt about it. And Davon and Bayleigh are absolutely correct. That had this been Nicole, Dani, who in different circumstances, that reaction would not have been that way. Christmas would have understood that she, took a friendship and betrayed somebody and she needs to eat that. And she wasn't willing to do that for Bayleigh or Davon.
Yeah. And I really do commend Davon for having this conversation with Christmas, because they've been doing really well at keeping their attitude and their blowouts to a minimum, and they've been really having these conversations as calmly as possible and as
Mhm.
detailed as possible, so that they're not labeled, as Bayleigh said, these ghetto black girls. And they've
Mhm.
been doing it since week one, and it's very, very noticeable. And
Yes.
Christmas kept pushing, and eventually, obviously, we see it come out. But I mean, I really do commend Davon for keeping herself calm, because she really tried to make Christmas understand. But like you said, uh, whether it was intentional that maybe Christmas didn't realize it, which is why I know it's not said, just I label it as her privilege, because especially if she doesn't realize what she's doing, it's even more obvious that it's her own privilege keeping her blind to what she's doing, because
Mhm.
it's obvious to everybody else, but she's not noticing it.
And this is why I also, now I know Julie had mentioned that probably they did a good job in editing that, but this is why I want to try and find the unedited version. I want to see the full conversation in its entirety. One, I think Christmas should not try to dictate how anyone should feel. That's for sure. Like, who the hell are you? You're
Yeah.
the one that put her on the block. Let her feel
Especially that you're
certain type of way.
HOH. Like you
Yeah.
keep saying that it's game. Well, it's game. You have to deal with people being mad at you when you're HOH.
And this is also one of Davon's arguments that I did not like, which I feel wasn't really a good argument, was the whole personal versus game. What I mean by that, or how I
Personal game, yeah.
or personal game or something like that. Yeah, personal game. And then Christmas
Yeah,
was
she
like,
said
but
personal game.
what's personal game? Like, that's not a thing. It's game. We're just playing game. When Davon made that argument to Christmas, like, oh, but she told that to you as like a personal level kind of thing, and she's like, okay, but we're playing a game. Like, what's up? I used it against her. Like, she shouldn't be. Like, I agree with Christmas in that sense, where she shouldn't be offended by that I
Yeah.
used that against her.
But
That's
Mhm.
part of the
that's
game.
Christmas being hypocritical, though, because she's saying I basically took personal information because someone trusted me and I stabbed her in the back, and she should be understanding that it's a game. But then you should also be understanding that she's allowed to be mad at you because you did that. So it's like
Absolutely.
it works both ways, you know?
For sure.
Mhm.
So it's like
Absolutely.
you can't argue one point without accepting the other.
That's it. Is that risk worth that reward? If you're gonna pull that, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna pull that. I'm trying to find an analogy. If you're gonna pull that blanket over or whatever the have you, if you're gonna do that,
Yeah.
then yes, you're gonna have to take the consequences. She might be mad at you, sure. She might not want to talk to you for the rest of the week. Might happen. These things are gonna happen. So that I didn't get either. So that's where it was kind of messed up. One, Bayleigh shouldn't be upset with
Yeah.
Christmas because, hey, Bayleigh, you messed up. You shouldn't have told her that Davon was your untouchable. Why have this conversation? You've been in this game before. That was your bad. You can't technically
Yeah, but
blame
that was her
Christmas.
trusting someone who she thought she had a very good working relationship with in the house, but then learned to understand that it wasn't as trusting as she thought, right?
Right, right. But at
So
the end of the
it
day,
happens,
it's
But this is how betrayal
it,
happens, right? So
yeah,
like this is
it's
the
game.
currency in Big Brother. This is that's the currency, right? Information's currency. So
Oh, I like that.
Bayleigh screwed up,
Mhm.
and yeah, she trusted the wrong person. But that doesn't negate, like, if you're playing and you trust somebody, and this is why that very bad term, I agree with you, Justin, that personal game information, what that like what Devon's trying to highlight for Christmas is that yes, it's game. Yes, she gave you that
but Bayleigh
information
trusted you, yeah.
because she trusted you.
Right.
So you've hurt her, and it's affected not just her game, Bayleigh's game, but it's also
But
affected
her
the
personal
relationship.
emotions.
Mm,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
right.
affected your relationship between Christmas and Bayleigh.
And she did a
So,
really good job at trying to
yeah.
convey that to Christmas, but that's where Christmas comes in being like, well, she shouldn't because it's a game. So I thought it was very ignorant of her. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
then she got with the hand slapping in her face. I lost it. It really shocked me. Not shocked. Like, I knew I didn't like Christmas, and now I know for a fact why. But it's like she kept using, if I must say, black girl mannerisms against them, when if they're the ones to use it on her, they would be dubbed as the crazy black girls that have
So
Yes.
temper. And Christmas, I like I said, I don't know if she was doing it intentionally or if
I
it just came out,
that's
but I really just think it came out because that's just how she is, and these are the microaggressions that people don't realize they have within them, because in her natural state and her natural anger, it came out super disrespectful and super like unclassy.
now maybe I'm just super naive, or I don't know, but I know a lot of people when they do get angry though. Maybe the smacking is a different thing, but at first it was just the hands in their face because Devon was like, "Don't put your hands on my like, don't point at me, like whatever." I know a lot of people that do that.
Yeah.
So that's when it went into the clapping. The clapping I only remember when she was going up the stairs, and she was
It
like,
started from
"Clap."
downstairs and
Oh,
she did
did
it
it?
the
Okay.
whole way upstairs. Yeah. It
Mhm.
started in Davon's face and Davon told her to get out of her face and she did it all the way up the stairs.
That's it. So I don't know if it was her trying to mimic a quote unquote ghetto black girl, or if it was her just being angry, infuriated, and she can no longer hold her control, though. I don't know. It could very well be one of, because when people get angry and furious and you're having this crazy conversation and they're not listening to you, because she's obviously going to feel that she's right in the convo, right? She's not trying to, whatever
Of
she
course.
feels that she's right. Devon feels that they're right. Devon is kind of simmer. Christmas cannot hold her composure. She's being ridiculous and pointing or whatever. I don't know if it was necessarily intentional to make it rude or to mimic Devon, because maybe she would have done that with anyone else too. I don't know about putting that racial guard on that situation. Is
I
technically
just
Okay,
fair.
think
so
that Christmas has never done that, being angry with anybody.
mm,
That's not something she does. She doesn't clap her hands in her face of like we've seen Christmas upset and we she does not do that. So, like I said, it's not something that we see or we're hearing like point blank that this is what it is. It's just a lot of times when you're around people, your body naturally mimics them, or
Mm.
you when you become friends with someone, you kind of pick up on their jargon and you kind of talk like them a little bit more to kind of make your conversation flow better. So I think naturally she just picked this up unknowingly and did it because she wanted to match their anger, but they weren't doing it
They
back.
weren't doing that
So
though.
so
that's
Yeah.
there's another layer to this, right? And it goes into what Steph is saying, because if the roles were reversed and Devon was getting into Christmas's face like that, there would have been interjection from other house guests. We have seen it in the past where when things get heated
yeah.
like that, other house guests come and take him apart. They go to separate, rooms. They're all trying to cool down. Men often stand in, especially when it's two women going at each other like this.
Hmm.
We see Christmas
And
as
this
the
time
aggressor,
nobody did
and
nothing.
Davon and Bayleigh were keeping their cool.
We're
They
the
were having
victims.
intellectual
Yeah.
conversation. They were trying to de escalate. They were using intentional de
De-escalate
escalation
and stay calm. Yeah.
language and body language. So, verbal language and body language were in de escalated, non threatening positions.
Hmm.
Christmas lost her cool, was up in their face, was not engaging in any sort of productive conversation, got very physically aggressive, and no one did anything. They sat there in the kitchen. This is the problem, because it historically, you cannot deny it. Historically, you look at other footage, other seasons, other shows, not just Big Brother. When stuff
Mm.
like this happens, other people get involved. There is it this I've
No
this is the
one
first
batted
time
an
I've
eye,
ever this is the first time I've never
which
seen somebody
I
get
was another
involved.
thing that upset me.
I don't
Nobody
think it
batted an eye.
escalated. I don't think it escalated yet, though, enough for anyone to get involved. I think it was getting there, but I think they both kind of stopped at the point before any. Well,
No, Day
no,
walked away. There's a
but
difference.
that's what I
Day
mean.
walked away. they had to get around Christmas to walk away.
Yeah, exactly. She went to the backyard.
Christmas kept provoking her. Davon walked away. She tried to go calm herself down, and Christmas would. I was yelling at my TV, and I'm like, why is no one telling Christmas to shut the F up? They're just letting her run her mouth. I'm like, if I was there, I would have been like, okay, Christmas, it's done. Like, it's over. Like, cool it already, you know? But nobody said peep.
Yeah. Everyone just went to go see. Ian went to go take a shower. Kevin
Ian got
randomly would
in
just
the shower without a towel.
Poor Ian.
Okay, poor Ian.
Poor Ian.
Poor Ian.
I mean, I think Ian just wanted to hear some drama, to be honest. He's probably like, today was a boring day. I'll just go take a shower.
He actually got into the shower before it started, so he was like, not a great time to be in the shower, guys. Because nobody's getting me a towel right now.
Yeah.
And so that's it. And then so the same conversation happens with her and Bayleigh. Bayleigh then is like, what's going on?
Yeah, so Bayleigh comes in partway through because she realizes, so she comes downstairs, hears that it's heated in the bathroom, and she hears right away. She goes, what is going on? Dani says, basically, oh, there's something happening, like, basically pretending it's not happening. Bayleigh obviously goes and stands in there, and then that's why she gets involved. You know, they're talking about her, they're fighting about her. She wants to come and be like, this is why I'm feeling this way, and I have a right to feel that way.
Right. You know,
so they're all there.
You know, even though Bayleigh walks away upset, she went in there trying to de-escalate, which was very similar to what like CiCi was saying that Davon did as well, but that Christmas was just so relentless towards both of them because of her own feelings of being offended. That even Bayleigh was like, I went in there, I tried to de-escalate. And she said the same thing that Davon did when she went out to the backyard to Tyler and to Cody, saying that like if we're the one that reacts, we get pegged as the bad guys. But when Christmas is doing it, it's okay. And she keeps provoking, and we kept trying to be nice and to be calm, and she just was so relentless, and she kept provoking. And then hey, Mama Day came back to play.
Yeah, straight up. And then Davon was like, you're staying, Bayleigh, you're staying this week. That's why you're going to stay this week, because Mama Day coming out.
Yeah, she's like, you wanted to provoke me? Well, you're provoked. And, you know, she didn't want this to happen, but, you know, it eventually did. And I still think that in the event that it did, I am so proud of them because they handled themselves with the most class I have ever seen both of them handle themselves.
That's it. And they handled it like a pro, like how you're supposed to. They were trying to diffuse a situation. Yeah. Like, hey, we're having a conversation. Like, that's it. Why does it need to get to this level kind of thing? They were diffusing the situation. And then when they come back, they're both heated. Christmas has like another smart remark. And then Bayleigh's like, why are you still talking? Like, enough. It's over. Christmas just seems like she's very hot-headed to begin with, and I feel like you shouldn't have a conversation with her because nothing will get through her thick skull.
Yeah.
At least it seems that way because by some of her responses, I'm like, yo, you're acting like a child. Stop it. Like, just stop. You know what I mean? Like, you're a grown-ass woman. Talk like an adult. What are you doing? Stop being so petty. Like, there's something there for sure. Because it just doesn't make any sense. She has to do some self-reflecting because, gee golly, like, it's a game, yes. No one should have taken offense to anything in the sense that if, like, Christmas should have known that she was going to not take offense, but be angry at her. You backstabbed the girl.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen. Don't take offense.
To wait it out. She just needed to wait it out, and she just felt entitled that it should have happened on her terms.
That's what I'm saying. And then we bring that entitlement where she's crying to Bayleigh at the beginning of the week because she put her up. Like, what the hell was that? Right. You know what I mean? So that crazy fight happens. I can't wait to find the unedited version just to kind of see if there was anything more. Apparently they did a good job at editing. So that was quite crazy. Essentially after that, we also do find out, technically it was on Wednesday's episode, but we do find out that Cody's grandfather had passed away.
Yeah.
just kind of crazy for someone to experience that while in the Big Brother house and you're not with the family and couldn't do anything.
Our condolences all around.
So that relate a little bit to on Thursday, or a bunch of house guests were mentioning it as they were giving their votes. Was there anything else before vote ceremony time?
Nope, that was it.
That was it, huh? So the vote speeches were very respectful, very love you guys, very I respect, so I guess their name was Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic, yeah.
Yeah.
Because now it's official, even though one of them is leaving. Because I feel like that was the only time they made it official.
No. It was first episode.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I felt like because they jotted down a couple of names. They mentioned a couple of names. I just didn't know they made it official that it was Black Girl Magic. All right, fair enough. My bad. Yes. So essentially, all that said, everyone votes unanimously to get Bayleigh out.
9-0 is the final vote for Bayleigh.
And Bayleigh hugs everybody in respect. I believe she even hugs Christmas.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't have either. I was like, whoa, that's.
I would hug Tyler and blatantly disregard Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would too. What does that say about us, Steph?
Well, I guess I can't backstab you guys in anything because I'd want a hug after I say goodbye. So duly noted, guys.
Hugs in 10 weeks when it's all over.
And you've 10 weeks after
you've lost 2. When you've lost 2, I'll give you a hug.
Jeez. Okay, so with that, so she then has a chat with Julie Chen, and Julie basically asks her, so how are you feeling now that everything is over? We did our best to kind of show the whole fight, and Bayleigh basically mentions that, I came on Big Brother to show you that I could put my emotions in check. From everything that happened last season or the season prior with Swaggy C and her. She was going through an emotional roller coaster with everything, and she came back to really try to play a good game and keep her emotions in check, which I think she absolutely did.
Yep.
Clearly after that, also that Christmas episode, that Christmas chaos. So I don't know if I'm going to call it that or something that CiCi said prior, conversation is currency. That's going to be one of the 2 names that this episode's going to be on.
Information is currency, is what she said.
Yeah, but conversation's currency. I like this better ring.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Yeah, so with that, I don't think she necessarily mentioned everything else. She mentioned that she knows it's a game and that she just forgives everybody, I think, is what she said.
And I did mean to actually check in on that extended interview with Julie, and I didn't actually have the chance to, but I will do that.
Yeah, I watched it. It was good. It was interesting. It was classy, graceful.
Well, Bayleigh was a class act.
Yeah.
As the notes say, she was too good for that house anyways, which I agree. So sad to see her go, but she redeemed herself, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, she definitely redeemed herself. Curious to see what Devon, who's Devon is going to cling to when alone. I think, honestly, Ian now should at least... because Ian had something with Bayleigh, right? They had a little something. I guess maybe that was nothing, though.
I don't know if it's going to translate. So in the extended interview, Bayleigh mentioned Kevin. So Kevin wanted Bayleigh out so that he could stick with Devon. So Bayleigh's pretty sure that Kevin's going to be there. She's thinking maybe Enzo will stay by Devon's side. And there's a third one, and I can't remember. Can't remember who the third one was.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see.
But if you think Ian's going to stay, I don't know if Ian's going to be able to navigate that right away. If Devon and Ian are both in the house in a couple weeks, maybe.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
That's it. So ultimately, though, that it has to be with somebody. It has to be with someone along that crew. It's not going to be with the Mean Girls crew, with Nicole, Dani, and Christmas and all that. So they have to form some kind of crew there. And on that note, I would also just like to mention with the Mean Girls crew, there was also some more information that came out about Dani, Nicole F, Christmas, and Memphis.
He said, please do tell.
Yeah, about basically making fun of Ian's rocking, where he would rock back and forth. They were basically making fun of his autism. And Memphis described Ian's autism as something out of a horror movie and how they're scared, how he's scared
Or how it's
sometimes,
creepy.
or how it's creepy.
You know,
And
more tasteless acts from this group, and you know, for Dani to call Kaser tasteless, and I can't remember the word she used in his eviction thing, saying she never spoke a bad word about him till now, and that he was unclassy and tasteless. Like
right,
that's a lot coming from Dani's mouth because
yeah. And so what I did was I essentially found the video and I posted the video on Twitter. And I was just like, whatever, just so people know. I just tagged BB22, BB22, and then it just goes everywhere. Apparently, a bunch of people retweeted it to Evil Dick, and I'm like, oh my god.
Causing some family drama. No,
Yeah,
I mean, I think it just goes back, and we remember. So we talked about this right, fairly early in the season when Ian kind of officially was vocal about his autism and where he is on the spectrum, and Nicole A was there, and then he was talking about the hammock, and so that rocking is a self-soothing mechanism for him, right? So it's this rocking, this repetitive motion that seems to be making people uncomfortable, along with all of the other ignorance around things. But what's so odd, at the start of this season, Nicole F, kind of was there and, said, well, you don't have to be worried about that, and was trying to console him. So it's really disappointing for the
Very.
understatement of the year.
and but it's also kind of like the Mean Girls Club sort of deal,
Oh,
right?
totally.
Like it's somewhat peer pressure, right? You have all these people talking, and you're in this bad vibe area, and you're gonna talk trash too. I'm not saying
But
it's
that's
right.
the thing. You're not in high school.
That's it.
Nicole could have said something without revealing her true allegiance to Ian by
Right.
simply just being a nice person. Being like, "Hey
Yes.
guys, remember Ian is kind of he admitted to being on the spectrum. He said that this is something that he does to soothe himself. It doesn't really
Yeah.
bother us in the sense that it just makes you uncomfortable to watch. Well, it actually helps him cope with real life by doing this. So it's like
That's it.
who are you to say it makes me uncomfortable just to look at it when this is something that
Yeah.
somebody
And
uses
isn't
to
Nicole a
cope?
nurse?
Maybe Nicole F was a nurse, but I know she's just a blogger now. But
Yeah, she's not a nurse, but I think she was.
well, if she was, then shame on her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. It's just pointless stupidity. I don't get it. Like, it's peer pressure in that regard, but still, you
Yeah,
gotta
she
just have
graduated from college
logic.
as an ER nurse.
Oh,
There we
snap.
go. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
more tasteless behavior and more
Ugh.
reasons why nobody's liking the direction of the season.
So I literally hate all of them. Hate is a strong word, but I'm sorry if you're that. If I'm saying tasteless now, if you're that tasteless and that much of an idiot to not realize why he does that, and you're gonna go and blame him for it, I don't want you to win any kind of money, and I don't want you to get far into the game. And these are the
Welcome
people
to the
we
club.
initially,
I've been saying this for like weeks. Come on, guys. Welcome
yeah,
to the club.
and and these were the people we initially thought were either bigots or racist or and actually this was the crowd
Microaggressors, all of
like
them, all
yeah,
of them.
straight up. And if white privilege has to be tossed, it's definitely to these four people completely in that regard. They think it's just narcissism too. There's a whole bunch of things wrong with these people. um and yeah, I when I saw that, I was just completely disgusted. Like, look, I get it. Not everyone could be nice in the world, but at least be a decent human being.
Yeah.
And if you don't know of anyone, and I get it, if some people don't know of anyone with autism, you might not necessarily know how much it entails. But that's why you try and learn from someone who's in the house with you, who has autism. Like these people clearly have never been with anyone with autism. Clearly not or with any kind of form of disability in that regard. Because, holy hell, man, the most insensitive thing you can
Yeah, there's really
possibly say.
Oh, I said there's just really no words. It's,
No, Yeah, absolutely. So here's the bad. A lot of people are now mentioning, oh, kick them out of the house. Look, that's not gonna happen. That's 4 people. Big Brother needs a game to go on. It's definitely not gonna happen. But Nicole F lost some sponsors, so there
Good.
is that.
Yeah, she's
Um,
officially lost, I think, 3 now, officially.
it's
Olay was one of the bigger ones. She had a
Olay was the bigger one, yeah.
yeah, Olay
oh
Skin had an Instagram sponsor with her, so that was one of the bigger ones that she lost.
oh damn yeah. You see, your words can be weapons. So just just be nice, be kind. Julie mentions it to us every time she leaves the show on Thursdays. Like these messages should be told on the PA system in the house, so even the house guests can realize. This is why Kesar was in the game.
Yeah.
God damn it, people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm done with my little venting.
Anyways.
Yeah. After that, we do got the head of household competition that we see 2 minutes of
Yeah,
because
no
they're-
time.
yeah, they're gonna be hanging on the wall all night.
Another
And
BB classic, a whole week of
yeah,
classics. I loved it.
whole week of classics, so that was nice. And we will certainly find out who wins HOH on Sunday. So that should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's pretty much it. So a lot of drama, a lot of stuff to be learned on this week. To be decent people, to know your boundaries. Yeah,
Check your
probably
privilege.
check
Check your privilege.
know your
Holy crap.
boundaries. Check your privilege. Just be a decent human being. You could conversate and debate without making it an argument. Um,
It really just comes down to basic human respect.
yeah, straight up.
Just respect each other. You don't have to agree, you don't have to like it, but if we just respect each other and understand that, like, hey, agree to disagree, and that's it, that's all. At the end of the day, you could not like somebody and not want anything to do with them, but respect them as a person and respect their boundaries and move on from them if it doesn't suit you. That's it.
And take time to learn.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
it's not embarrassing to learn.
Yeah.
It's I love learning so much.
What's the
Like,
term they say? Always be coachable.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
straight up. Like, so much privilege and so little time. We already spent a lot of time on the privilegedness of these women. Um, so with that said, at least it was an entertaining week. We had some drama. We've had some learning maneuvers, and I like the fact I didn't remember what Julie Chen said when she left. I always try to make note of what she said, but I'm sure it was worthwhile. And yeah, I like this is the first time really they're really showcasing a lot of these boundaries. I feel with privilege, just showcasing a lot of. I don't think they're gonna show any of the Ian thing because that's maybe a bit much.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do that.
I think they're just trying to make their viewers understand that although it's a game, there are issues that are bigger than the game, and that's ultimately what's the most important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. And and the beautiful thing about reality TV, right, is it's supposed to be showing, a microcosm of what's happening in the world, right?
Yeah.
You see how people react under pressure and stress, and when their instinctual responses or their trained responses, and how they're different. And I think with the climate that exists right now in our world, I think PBS or CBS would be CBS would be under fire if they didn't address it in this way.
Yeah.
If they
100%.
weren't starting to show that they see it, they hear it, they are
And they
changing their
don't agree
editing.
with it. Yeah.
They don't agree with it, and they're changing their editing practices because of it. 10
Yeah.
years ago, 15 years ago, I don't know that we would have seen that fight
As
presented
well
the way
as
it
we
was.
did. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well said, CiCi.
That's very true. Yeah, so we'll see who wins next week when we come back here. I'm sure we'll have an eventful time.
We can't do our predictions because we don't know who wins.
That's it. So we can't do any predictions. I'm still gonna say something. I'm down for Duvan to hang tight because I would love to see a Dave Onfield HOH.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait.
And that would be very interesting.
Yeah, I want her redemption. 100%.
Redemption. Yes. Win something. Please,
Win
Day.
something.
Mama
Let's
Day.
do-
Gotta win something.
Come on, Day. And that's it. So that's how the cookie crumbles. And any final thoughts? I guess that's it.
Yeah, no, it was a great week for real talk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, straight up. It was definitely a great week for Real Talk. On that note, I guess we'll wind it down. We'll definitely see you guys next week for week 6 recap. On that note, let's hit it off with the socials. Steph, where can they find you and get a cake from you?
Yeah, Instagram, hit me up at Stephanie's Bakery 514. I had recently just posted all the cakes that we had done in the last month because I was a little bit slacking on that. But we're back up to date, so go check out the new posts and show some love.
Whoop whoop.
Woo.
CiCi.
So I'm not going to plug anything today, and I'm going to just give a reminder challenge that I give out every now and then, and that's be open, be vulnerable, be kind. When everything else is gone, love remains.
There we go.
I have so many names for titles for the show now. Jeez. Perfect. Well said, CiCi. Well said. Yeah, and of course you can follow me. My personal Twitter is at JLB420. Real Talk Radio is the brand at Real Talk Radio 8. Anchor.fm/RTR is where you can find all the streams. If you're a YouTuber, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, whatever have you, they're all there. You can certainly check that out wherever podcast you like to go to. And website is still there, still not updated. realtalkradio.online is just stuff you want to see how a basic website looks like without anything flourished in it. You can go there and check that out for now. And yeah, great week. Definitely a lot more entertaining for very wrong reasons, but my entertainment body meter was filled to the max, so at least it provided a lot of good conversation.
Yeah, sparks the right conversations.
Definitely. And I hope it will continue to do more of that, because a lot more people need to learn in this world. You just gotta open your ears a little and ask the right questions. Thank you guys. Until next week, this is the BB Fanatics. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good night.
See ya.
Everyone just throwing all the buys out there. Hasta la vista.
Don't want to call out again. Jeez. Basic courtesy.